So let's talk about rebuilding our entire global telecommunications system from the ground up. I know, it sounds massive, right? But today, we're diving into the story of three interconnected projects, World Mobile, Minutes Network, and Unity Nodes, that are trying to do exactly that. They're aiming to fix what the giants of the industry have failed to do for decades, connect everyone, everywhere. It's a seriously bold vision, but to really get why such a huge change is needed, we've got to look at the cracks in the system we all use every single day.
And that's a totally fair question. I mean, for a lot of us, our phones work just fine. But what if I told you the system is hiding a couple of massive problems, just simmering right under the surface? And really, these problems boil down to two big things: who can even get online in the first place, and just how much the network is being exploited right under our noses.
First up, let's talk about access. This number, it's just staggering. Nearly 3 billion people, that's almost half the world's population, are completely offline. And you gotta ask, why? Well, it's because the old way of doing things, building these huge, expensive cell towers, it just doesn't make any financial sense for companies in rural or low-income areas. And this creates this massive digital divide, locking billions of people out of the modern economy, education, you name it.
Okay, second problem, integrity. For those of us who are connected, the system is just hemorrhaging money. Get this, an estimated $2 trillion are lost every single year. Lost to what? To things like fraudulent calls hijacking the networks or super inefficient identity checks. You can almost think of it as a hidden tax on every call and text we send. And yeah, we all end up paying for it through higher prices and worse service. So the bottom line is this: we have a system that is both deeply unfair and incredibly wasteful.
So how in the world do you even begin to fix a problem this big? Well, that brings us to Act 1, laying the foundation. And this is where a company called World Mobile enters the picture. It was founded back in 2018 by a telecom visionary named Mickey Watkins, and his goal wasn't just to build another phone company, but to create a completely new kind of network from the ground up.
And this is the core belief that changes everything. They didn't see the internet as a luxury or even just a service. They saw it as a fundamental human right. And that single idea, it completely flips the script. Because if access is a right, then you're not just looking for profitable markets anymore. You have to find a model that can sustainably reach everyone, no matter where they live.
So how are they going to pull it off? The answer is this really cool concept called DPIN, which stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. Now, I know that sounds super complicated, but just think of it like this. It's basically Airbnb for the internet. Instead of one giant company owning all the cell towers, World Mobile makes it possible for local entrepreneurs and communities to own and operate little pieces of the network themselves and earn money for providing that coverage to their neighbors.
And this is how it all fits together. It's this clever three-layer system. First, you've got Aether nodes, and their job is to act as the bridge to the existing global telecom system. Next, you have the Earth nodes. These are like the brains of the whole operation. They process all the transactions and secure the network using a blockchain, which is just a super secure, transparent digital ledger that nobody can mess with. And finally, and this is the most important part for people on the ground, you have air nodes. These provide the actual connection. It could be a small Wi-Fi hotspot on a local shop, or even a balloon providing coverage to an entire village. Okay, so World Mobile is tackling that access problem head-on, building this amazing people-powered network to bring billions online. But hey, remember that $2 trillion problem? The fraud, the waste? Well, that's happening deep inside the system's plumbing, in a part of the industry most of us never even see. And solving that, well, that takes a different kind of revolution.
And this brings us to Act 2. In 2022, World Mobile's co-founder, Josh Watkins, launched something new, Minutes Network. And its target, the colossal $250 billion wholesale voice termination market. That's a super fancy term for the hidden system that connects your international calls between different phone companies. It's a space that's been run by just a few giants for decades, making it expensive, inefficient, and totally secretive.
This comparison really nails the problem. The old way of routing a call from, say, London to Lagos, it's a mess. Your call might bounce between multiple different carriers, and each one takes a cut, adding cost and delay every step of the way. It's slow, it's expensive, and you have no idea what's happening. Minutes Network just cuts right through all that. By using its blockchain, it creates a direct, transparent, and low-cost marketplace. It lets companies like Skype and Leica Mobile connect calls way more efficiently than ever before.
All right, so just to recap, we've got one network connecting the unconnected and another one fixing the broken backbone of the voice industry. I mean, these are powerful solutions all on their own. But the real genius here, the absolute game changer, is what happens when they join forces to solve a problem that neither one could tackle alone.
And that brings us to our grand finale, Act 3, the Alliance. In mid-2025, World Mobile and Minutes Network announced this groundbreaking joint venture they called Unity Nodes. And this isn't just another project, folks. This is their direct weapon, aimed squarely at that $2 trillion plague of fraud and inefficiency we talked about right at the beginning. The idea behind Unity Nodes is just brilliantly simple. It turns a global network of ordinary smartphones, like yours and mine, into a decentralized fraud detection squad. So here's how it works. Node operators just run a simple app. This app automatically makes test calls and checks call routes in the background, sniffing out those fraudulent pathways. Then the results are recorded on the blockchain, creating this permanent, unchangeable proof of network quality. And the best part? For helping secure the network, operators earn real rewards in major cryptocurrencies. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. This isn't just 3 separate projects working in silos. It's a fully integrated 3-part strategy. You have World Mobile building that last-mile access for the unconnected, you have Minutes Network optimizing the core highways for global voice, and then you have Unity Nodes acting like a decentralized security force, protecting the whole ecosystem. Each part solves a specific problem, but together they create a complete end-to-end solution.
And the engine driving this entire revolution is the sharing economy. This is not a system where all the profits just flow up to some central company. As you can see from the tokenomics, the economic system for World Mobile, the largest single chunk, over 29%, is set aside to directly reward the people who actually run the network. We're talking about the node operators and the stakers, people who help secure the network. This powerful economic incentive is what fuels the network's growth and makes sure it's truly owned by its users, not some big corporation.
So, the crucial takeaway is this. World Mobile, Minutes Network, and Unity Nodes, they aren't just 3 separate companies. Together, they represent a complete top-to-bottom blueprint for a brand new kind of global network. One that's decentralized, transparent, efficient, and this is the most important part, owned by the very people who use and maintain it. This is a fundamental shift in how we think about our global infrastructure.
Which all leads to this final, really powerful question. For decades, we've watched the biggest companies in the world try and fail to solve global connectivity. Billions of people are still offline, and the system is bleeding trillions of dollars. So could this new model, a network literally built and owned by its users, be the breakthrough we've been waiting for? Could it truly be the end of the era of centralized telecom giants? That is the future this blueprint is aiming for, and it's a future that could change absolutely everything.